Welcome back, fellow Portal Masters. It is time for the next topic of Skylanders Trap Team. Now I know I said Chaos's Doom challenges, but I think I might probably save that for next week, because I think I have a special guest out for the day. So for now, I've got something I would probably want to show you around. We're probably going to rank all 48 elemental gates in this game. That's right, all 48. Can you believe it? Of course, I might probably go in order of area, but don't worry, I will probably try to organize everything. So I'll be starting with Snapshot. Due to the first area being a water elemental gate. But I will organize them in my correct worst to best list. Of course, I will be going in order of chapter. This may probably power up many of you guys. It may not really bring in the difficult errors completely, but this is kind of what it is. Anyway, I will see you then for the list. Coming up in dead last at number 48 is the air gate from the Lair of the Golden Queen. Can you believe how annoying this one is? Cradle of the Four Winds. This one is by far super tedious and is my least favorite without a whole bunch. You basically gotta get through without being pushed back too much by the tornadoes. I actually made it in the end, but this was a pain. A serious pain. By far my least favorite out of the whole 48 gates out of the bunch. Once you reach the end, these tornadoes just begin to frustrate you even more, pushing you back, and it slows you down really bad. And it's very impossible to jump through them, depending on their pattern. Pain in the ass. Excuse the language, but maybe I should say pain in the butt. Not to mention, these tornadoes can really hurt you. make it out. You gotta keep mashing A. But even still, these tornadoes will scar you for life. It's a really annoying pattern that you gotta get past, especially when you want to try to get to the very end. Especially when you want to try to get to the very end. And you will of course get the classic pot hat once you actually manage. Anyway, just hit the teleport pad and you're back at the beginning. So yeah, there you go. You will not believe how much of a bane of my existence this thing is. At number 47, we have my second least favorite elemental gate of the bunch. It's the dark elemental gate of Monster Marsh, the Dark Hollow. This one is by far a very tedious pinball game that you gotta run through. Just simply hit one pinball after another, or trying to get it into, get into the hole and activate the cage, which will lead you to the Shadow Ghost Act. It is just a boring area where you just keep having to do a lame pinball section. Much like Midnight Museum always has it. It is highly tedious, and this can really be very frustrating, even if you do succeed. The side pinballs seem pretty easy enough. However, getting one all the way up into the ramp after you hit the first two is just really annoying. That's kind of the reason why this elemental gate is so low on the list. Wasting your time too much trying to roll this ball up. Second least favorite dark elemental game. Garbage, am I right? At number 46, we have the Earth Gate from the Golden Desert. Ugh, you will not believe how dumb this gate is. Earth and Alcove. The hat is basically just sitting right here. Well, we have some blocks we can actually push over so we can step up to a platform with a pile of gold. Dudes, wouldn't be that hard to actually make a section with the hat like on here instead of right here. Like switch the goal and the hat. This is what everyone. This is what you call laziness. It's just garbage here. I am so not coming back here. At number 45, we have the air gate from the Golden Desert. The Windy Watch. This place is by far a boring place where you gotta like wait like 10 seconds and it's painful. Gotta like wait 10 seconds for the balloon to move, and it's a really painful experience. There is basically treasure and a hat, and that's it. And some boring balloons that you gotta deal with around this place. And that's why it's so low on this list. Just remember to time your jump good, otherwise you'll fall down. Once you reach the end, just hit the teleporter and you're back in the beginning. And that's it. So yeah. Just a boring air element of the game. At number 44, we have the Magic Gate from the Nightmare Express. Mystical Recess. This is kind of an annoying gate where you gotta like wait patiently for each platform to raise up. It just feels way too easy. Once you like make it all the way to the top, you get the medic hat, and that's just about it. This is by far my least favorite. Considering how too easy it is. Some people just aren't exactly too good at it, considering they don't really have the experience. Now I get it. I don't mean to make fun of any other people who don't seem to do so good, but if that middle platform is like lower down, if the middle platform or this platform is actually lower down, then you're pretty much toast, and not the good toast I'm talking about. It is pretty tough, and you gotta be patient, and when the platforms lift up. Otherwise, you'll just fall down just like that. We have the Light Gate of Future of Skylanders, the Museum of Important Rockers. If I'm being honest, this one is just a bit confusing. All I've been doing was just flipping switches and platforms start moving. I was quite confused, and I really don't like it. This is really annoying because platforms just don't immediately move right after you step on them. Seymour. Once you pretty much flip the switch. Switching everything to off mode, but that just messes it up. And you know how much I hate confusing puzzles. This is like by far my least favorite light elemental game. Well, like basically all the other three outside the adventure pack of the Midnight Museum. This place is just not very fun, and neither are the others. Either way, once you like get out of here and get the hat, see if you can find the right. See if you can find the right way to do it, and you're free to go. At number 42, we have the Dark Elemental Gate from the Ultimate Weapon, the Power Rerouter. If I'm being honest, this one is just boring and stupid. All you gotta do is basically jump across and avoid the pulses. And that's it. Not to mention, there's literally nothing here to do with the dark elements. This is what you call by far laziness. Come on, Activision. Do something better. This is just a game. At number 41, we have the Air Gate of Chef 7. It is basically called Tailwinds. It is basically just the Windy Watch from the Golden Desert, with less waiting around. Stupid hot air balloons that take 10 seconds to actually move, and this is just a boring area. All you gotta do is just move on over here, and you've got the batter up hat. Yeah. There's even a villain stash over on this platform right here. On this fin, on this tail fin. Anyway, this place just isn't really fun. Like I said, kind of like the Windy Watch from Golden Desert, but with less waiting around. At number 40, we have the Water Gate of the Phoenix Sanctuary, the Rainflower Grotto. You will not believe how boring and empty this room is. it does is just act as a boring, empty room where you gotta jump up for 10 seconds and get the daisy print on. And that's it. Just lazy, boring, and nothing to do in here. That's it. That's why it's so low on this list. At number 39, we have the Magic Gate of the Wilkin Workshop, the Safe Toy Disposal. Yeah, this place is just boring and empty. All you gotta do is just destroy a bunch of presents and they give you coins. With the present just sitting right here, and that's it. Just a boring, pointless area and nothing to do in here. Just stupid. This is what you call laziness. At number 38, we have the Fire Gate of the Secret Sewers of Supreme Stink. The Inner Headworks. If I'm being honest, this one seems pretty okay to me. The only problem, however, is that it just feels a bit too claustrophobic for me. I mean, can you believe how long it takes for these pieces of rubble to even disappear? They are just too slow. Also, I am not a big fan of side-scrolling gates, if I'm being honest. Basically gotta like blow up a bunch of walls and get the keys to the double locked door containing the trash lid. I mean, come on, a trash lid? Where's that for a hat? At least this place has a little bit of hazards. Like flame jets. Yeah, definitely a claustrophobic game, if you ask me. As you can clearly see, all you need to do is just collect both keys and you gain access to the hat inside this gate, the trash lid. Now again, as I'm saying, this place is just way too claustrophobic for me, and I'm not too big of a fan of side-scrolling based elemental gates or scenery areas, I would say. Number 37, we have the Earth Elemental Gate at the Sunscraper's Fire. The Crystal Cavern. This one is by far kind of the same as the Inner Headworks from the Secret Sewers of Supreme Stink, but at least there is a little bit more room. So, not as claustrophobic as the others, as the other one. Just be careful, try not to like resist the bouncers, at least the one in the middle here. This one is like really tedious, because if you like really move, you'll pretty much slip, you'll pretty much fall and mess up. Not to mention, the bomb is pretty difficult to aim, and that's going to require a landing. And definitely not a landing on a bounce pad. Once you actually manage to get up there, you get the light bulb hat. So yeah, like I said, a bit like the inner headworks from the secret sewers, but less claustrophobic. But at least the crystals in here look pretty beautiful. It's kind of well enough for the Sunscraper Spire, if you ask me. At number 36, we have the Tech Gate of Telescope Towers, the grinding gears. I gotta say, this actually perfectly replicates the tech gates found in Swap Wars. It's actually the most techy out of the whole bunch of tech gates out there here in this game. My only complaint, however, is how long it actually is. You basically just need to like jump across from gear to gear, get up to a button and activate the middle one so that you can pretty much get up to the hat, the old-time movie hat. Just simply watch out for drills if you don't want to get hurt. Wait for the gear to show back up. And you'll reach this gear right here, all the way up to the hat. So yeah, like I said, pretty cool enough, gives off some Swap Force vibes, but what really holds it back is how long it takes to actually make it through and complete it. At number 35, we have the Tech Gate from the ultimate weapon, the balloon return. I'm being honest, this is by far another uninteresting 2D area. And 2D areas are not my thing. Basically just need to like ride the balloon all the way over to this platform to get the legendary weird robot, wait 10 seconds for the balloons to float over, which is just boring. Hit the flywheel once again. Hit the next balloon, jump up, and then next balloon upward, and then on the next flywheel. Just try not to like jump off the balloon. Just try not to jump off the balloon or the flywheel so impatiently. Otherwise, you'll fall down. Start over. Once you hit the final balloon, you'll reach the platform with the brainiac. After that, just hit the super bounce pad, which will lead you back over to the entrance. So yeah. This is by far kind of a boring section with nothing else. At least it has treasure, and it is on the outside section. You can at least see it in the background from the power and the external power source section. At number 34, we have the tech gate of Operation Turtle Rocket Seal. The factory power plant. If I'm being honest, this one is actually quite annoying and frustrating to get across, but then again, it can also be a little too easy if you can really manage to get all the way across. And yeah, see? A bit too easy to get all the way across. Once you actually do, you get the outback, the Cubano hat. Yeah, Cubano hat. The straw hat, and nothing else. And then simply hit the teleport pad all the way back to the tank factors. So yeah, boring gate, all things considered. Either frustrating or tough. Frustrating or too easy. At number 33, we have the light elemental gate of Soda Springs, and it is the secret ingredients area. The secret ingredients area. This one is just generic boring puzzle that you gotta like destroy some Tractanium crystals out of the way, blow a door open with a cork to get a soul gem, bounce up to the platform after pushing this block here. Just a pile of coins on there, and jump across the gap, across the block you just pushed, and over here we'll get you the juicer hat, and that's it. This is practically a boring place that doesn't seem very special, and this is really not a very well executed start for the light element. I have to say so myself. At number 32, we have the Dark Elemental Gate, A from Sunscraper's Fire. This one, chamber of dark energy. Now, while it does have a bunch of Cyclops swarmers, that's pretty much all it is. It's just a simple, boring pinball game that you gotta do. Just one little tap on that little pinball, push it into this little hole here, and boom, the platform lifts up, and you get the Dark Helm sitting right here on this platform. That's pretty much it. It's just a boring room with nothing but Cyclops swarmers and a very boring, simple pinball game. At number 31, we have the Watergate of the Secret Sewers of Supreme Sneak. Now, at first glance, this seems like a very nice thing. Then we have Aqueduct, the Watergate in the Secret Sewers, but it just feels way too short, if I'm being honest. Simply 20 seconds long by just pushing the block into the sewer jet and then taking out a few jumps, and that's just about it until you reach the shower cap. Oh, the waste of potential, am I right? This place seems pretty fine. It's just too short and boring. At number 30, we have the light gate of shuts up the peculiarity of light. This one's just your generic block puzzle type of This is just a generic block puzzle of moving blocks around, and that's just about it. A boring block puzzle and nothing else. Come on, light gates. You're doing nothing good. By the way, this is actually where you get the juicer hat. The light gate over in Soda Springs is actually the Weather Vane hat. At number 29, we have the Earth Gate of Rainfish Riviera. Barnacle Shoal. This is just a really weird place. I mean, let me ask, do you like pushing snails? Well, I sure don't. Can you believe what you're actually doing? Pushing snails. That's right. That's all you're doing. You're pushing snails on this area, and it barely even looks like a barnacle place. Barely even looks like the Barnacle Shoal or anything. But either way, once you're done with that, you get the hat. Two behind. You leave two snails behind. That's it. So yeah, just a boring place. At number 28, we have the Magic Gate from the Lair of the Golden Queen, the ever-shifting abyss. Of course, at first glance, this place may seem a little strange, but at least it does provide some different tiles that flip around. Pretty much either a save tile, a healing tile, a crack tile, a point tile, a hazardous tile, or a tile that actually gives a little XP. Depends on your preference. You just kind of need to jump around. See if you can actually make it across. Either get by pretty much getting both treasure chest and a treasure chest, and of course the crazy light bulb hat straight ahead. This gate isn't bad by far any means, but it is a bit of a strange one. And it's a little puzzling. You don't really want to know why I'm really saying that. At number 27, we have the Magic Gate of Telescope Towers. A magic frame game. You basically need to smash a whole bunch of paintings in order to get a platform to reach all the way up to the hat. The NPC does say you gotta. The NPC does actually say that you gotta hit all the paintings in a certain order. But if you really hit them all at once, it's basically too easy. Then again, they do quickly turn back. Somehow, on my first try, I did actually smash them over. All at once. It's just the way these paintings keep popping up over and over is just really frustrating. Like I said, yeah, it's basically frustrating to hit them all at once. It's pretty much all because of the growing and shrinking balls, and it's quite easy to actually fall off the edge. Sometimes this is a little better with using glassrine, or who knows. sometimes making them, but this guy's swinging power is just too powerful. You can fall off the edge easily. After you basically destroy them all, they all disappear and a platform shows up, and you get the platform with the hat on. It's just kind of annoying on most occasions, and that's pretty much what puts this one at number 27. Number 26, we have the Undead Gate of Greenfish Riviera. I know that called Fishbone's Retreat. This is not too terrible. Is not too terrible. I mean, it's definitely a very nice looking. I mean, it's a very nice looking shipwreck based Undead Gate. I just wish there could have been more to it than that. Basically just need to step on the tiles, avoid getting hit by cannonballs, and see if you can actually make it all the way across to the shipwreck where you can find the metal fin. After that, just walk all the way across the field very quickly, avoid getting hit. That's pretty much it. At number 25, we have the Undead Gate from Lillican Workshop. The toy returns. I just feel like either this place gives me Cadaver Script vibes, or maybe that's just me. Either way, basically just need to destroy all the Avilicans and the presents, and that will open the walls. Going through this maze is actually quite fun. And again, I feel like this does give me Incadaver Script vibes whenever you go into a maze like this place. After all that, just hit the teleport pad and you're free. And head back up the bridge. At number 24, we have the 0 calorie cat burn, the tech gate of Silk Springs. There's not much going on. There's not much actually going on around here, but at least you're jumping around here, collecting coins, jumping across. At least the design is pretty fun. Look at all the gears, the orange soda streams. Pretty fun, right? Let me know however you like it. At number 23, we have the Magic Elemental Gate of Chalk Crystal Caves. This one is a little strange, but does seem a bit magical for sure. No pun intended. All you gotta do is like collect floating coins that float around everywhere, and once you like collect them all, the gate will open. Treasure chest is also visible, and there's also pretty much during the second and third stages where you've got to destroy some balls which are in the way. Either this place is kind of boring or pretty fine, but I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine to me. Once you pretty much collect it to the rugby hat, you will gain a teleporter pad all the way back to the end. Number 22, we have the Light Elemental Gate from the Midnight Museum. The Lantern Bower. Or Bower, whichever it is. This is basically the same as the Chef Zeppelin Light Elemental Gate. The peculiarity of light, but at least the blocks look pretty cool. They aren't actually that bad. Once you like finish up going around, you'll get the Firefly Jar. So yeah, this is probably the only best light elemental gate out of the whole bunch. Others, not so much. Number 21, we have the Life Elemental Gate from the Mirror of Mystery, the Lazy Lookout. It is kind of by far my least favorite Life Elemental Gate, but it does at least prove you don't really always have to have a very okay gate. I mean, considering how boring it looks, with only 5 steps and being about 10 seconds long, just as much as Rainflower Grotto, but at least it's a little better than the others. It is at least on our higher half of the list. And again, and just like I said, just like I said, these gates don't always have to be so perfect all the time. I mean, nothing and nobody's perfect. You kind of know what I mean. Once you actually get all the way up, you get the cornucopia hat, and that's it. After getting rid of all those stupid chunks. At number 20, we have the Life Elemental Gate of the Mystic Melon. The Flying Flora. Which, of course, this is pretty much where you get to use the same old bongo nuts from the Phoenix Sanctuary and Great Vines. Now, of course, you do kind of have to, like, go across some, hot air balloons, but the rest of the case. It's still, pretty fun to go around. It's still pretty fun to go around. In fact, you pretty much have access to the Boingo nuts from before. Green vines all the way straight across, which will lead you over or down the chimney and into plant processing plant, which will of course contain the hat. And that's just about it. At number 19, we have the Tech Gate from the Nightmare Express, the Vertical Challenge. This one seems to be by far kind of my favorite. All you gotta do is basically reach up to the outback in it. Yeah, I think that's it. You're simply carrying a bomb up to steps, and then you're throwing it over to a barricade, which blocks the way to the hat itself. And of course, well, I would highly suggest going around the side steps instead of going all the way up these backwards treadmills or conveyor belts, because the bomb has a limited time, and those are very slow. Those things are very tedious to actually climb up to, and you will definitely get slowed down, considering you're going backwards instead of forwards. Aside from that, just a lot of junk to destroy. Either way, not a bad gate by far. Anyway, at number 18, we have the Life Gate. We have the Life Elemental Gate of Sky Highlands. greenhouse. You will not believe it, but this place is so bizarre. It has Persephone, a treasure chest, and a life elemental gate that you gotta push the. You gotta pretty much push all crates while still remaining inside the greenhouse. It's so amazing. It's so amazing and so bizarre that we technically open up a elemental gate, but stay inside the same area at the same time. In fact, you even get to talk to Persephone in case you want to talk about upgrades. I mainly head in the area using Tough Luck, and over here, simply grab the William Tell hat. And that's just about it. This whole place is just so bizarre. Can you believe it? At number 17, we have the Undead Gate of Monster Marsh. Firestone Crypt. This basically just perfectly replicates the temple over at the Sheepwreck Islands. At the Sheepwreck Islands level adventure pack in Swap Wars. Sure does kind of resemble it, doesn't it? And of course in here you just gotta push 4 skull-like blocks, smash a bunch of eyeballs lurking around this whole area. And you'll reach the final platform with the hat. Dragon skull hat. And that's just about it. And number 16, we have Watergate of Telescope Towers. The Waterfall Fall. Here you basically just hop onto the super bounce pad, then jump down, and you're in. And you are basically going to have to jump down and fall right through all the rings. If you manage to, phantom platforms will pop up and you will gain access to the platform to the synchronized swimming cap. No enemies found here, but it is still a pretty fun gate nonetheless. At number 15, we have the Watergate from Mirror of Mystery, the Contemplation Cascades. This one's pretty much the final one out of the whole 48. Here you basically gotta avoid a spinning fountain of water, a couple of spinning fountains of water. Just drop down a bunch of waterfalls. Just drop down a few waterfalls here. While doing so, and then take out 3 chompy. And then take out a whole bunch of chompies. Taking refuge in here. Once to do that, you of course got the gondolier hat and the teleport pad. And of course, make sure you get the treasure chest back over here. And of course, make sure you get the treasure chest back here before you actually hit the teleport pad all the way back up to the beginning area. At number 14, we have the Earth Gate of Time Town, Broken Toe Plateau. Just be extra careful when you walk across this rocky catwalk. Try not to walk across immediately before it's actually finished. Otherwise, you'll get an annoying glitch where you'll literally fall down. Anyway, this is basically the Broken Toe Plateau, which will lead over to the Waterfall Cave inside as well. And it's got some very awesome pickaxe mechanics. Just basically chop down all the, basically smash down all those rocks. To reach the alarm clock at. Just watch out for the bouncy planets. Same goes for the waterfalls. They'll pretty much push you off. But either way, the design of this Rocky Mountain waterfall area is actually very nice. At number 13, we have the Life Elemental Gate of Soda Springs and Melon Flavor Farm. It has a pretty fun wheat mechanic and a little bit of an ambush with a plant warrior and a few chunks. Basically push the pumpkin straight onto the scale here, and that will lift up the platform all the way up. That will lift up the platform all the way up to the melon hat. Yeah, the melon hat. Well, it is a bit small and boring sometimes, it actually still has a pretty fun weight mechanic. At number 12, we have the Earth Elemental Gate in Know-It-All Island, the Waiting Room. This one is by far pretty much almost the same as the Melon Flavor Farm in Soda Springs, but done a lot better. Or a little bit better, and very similarly. Here you just get push the crates and not exactly roll pumpkins. That's kind of the reason why this is a little better than Melon Flavor Farm. Here you just push tiny blocks right there and lift up this spot. Lift it up to the sleuth hat. So yeah, pretty done good. the air gate of the Phoenix Sanctuary, the fan wing thermals. So this is basically just a pipe through the journey right through the air pipe, of course, and then we gain access to a lot of fan thermals. I don't know what's up with these guys, but they're pretty fun. They're actually pretty fun to run around with. It does, however, pretty much show a nice little mechanic of actually turning around cages in order for you to actually progress. Once you actually get at the ceiling fan heads, you just simply go back through the air pipe and into the entrance, and that's it. So yeah, kind of an okay big gate. It's not that bad. Pretty fun to actually fly around on the fans. At number 10, we have the Dark Elemental Gate of No Wall Island, the Shadowy Sanctuary. Now, while this may be a boring puzzle and all, don't get me wrong. It isn't actually that bad. You just kind of have to lift up the puzzle using the pump button and then create the bounce pad there. Then hit the same bounce pad, then hit another pump button, and that'll bring in another pinball. And while the pinball rolling definitely soaks in the Midnight Museum, this does still perfectly replicate the whole place. Don't roll the ball just yet until you got a full track of blocks here. That will, of course, help the ball go up into the. That will, of course, help the ball go up into the hole there and open the cage, which contains the hat. Of course, on this platform. Of course, on the other platform, that will contain and blackouts. So yeah, it is actually not as bad as the other kinds of pinball games around in the Midnight Museum, but still, this one isn't exactly the best of the bunch. At number 9, we have the Water Gate of. At number 9, we have the Water Gate of fire gate of Soda Springs, carbonated plant. There's not much going on around here, but it's actually quite awesome. Considering this, you gotta like, push the turtles out of the way, 2 of them, just onto this piece of air, and you'll be swirling around. Just kind of wish there was more to this than just that. And of course, you'll be getting the turtle hat right in the back right here. It may seem a bit too easy, but it is what it is. At number 8, we have the Undead Gate of Chompy Mountain. The Undead Vista. Simply walk through this tunnel. And you'll discover a pretty interesting area with a view of the entire chapter. It's pretty amazing. It's basically the side area. It's basically a side placed area right where the mountain, right at the mountain area. Once you actually complete this lock puzzle, you will of course gain the hunting hat. At number 7, we have the Fire Gate from Mystic Mill, the Fire Falls. Now, of course, at first glance, this may seem like a boring, generic type of elemental gate, but don't get me wrong, I actually like the design of this place. It's basically big fiery cave. Just try not to stay on a step for very long. Your weight might not be able to be supported. Otherwise, you'll pretty much fall right in. Once you climb all the way up, you'll pretty much receive the pad up there. Even if it is pretty short, it is still all got a pretty great design. Just try not to call it too trash. At number 6, we have the Fire Gate of the Future of Skylanders, the Mini Sun. Hence the name. You're basically just walking around a mini sun while avoiding the solar flares. Collecting coins, and then reaching over to the Extreme Viking hat. And that's basically it. The solar flares do increase over time. Just try to make sure you watch out for those solar flares as you go around. And try to make a turn as you go around as well. Yeah. Either way, this is a great fit for the space theme of this level. You know, because the sun is a star up in space. You know, this is full of space technology. I just feel a little disappointed that this is literally the very last fire elemental gate out of the whole bunch. literally only 4 total, and that's just about it. At number 5, we have the water gate at the Sky Highlands, the waterworks. All you gotta do is basically just fill up the whole area with water. Careful when trying not to stay on the water area, otherwise you'll experience an annoying glitch that will scar you for life. Same goes for falling in the water, I would say. This place is even full of pull elevators. Basically up across all the platforms. Fill the entire area with water and walk across the platform over to the radar head. Once you're finished, just simply hit the button there. Just simply hit the button there, and the water is drained. Now, of course, in order to get down, just be very careful not to drop and glitch through the floor. That would definitely be annoying. Anyway. This is basically kind of my very own favorite. Basically kind of my very own favorite water gate. At number 4, we have the Life Elemental Gate in Know-It-All Island, the Enchanted Forest. You will not believe the appearance of this place. It perfectly replicates the Falling Forest in Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. Just all you gotta do is throw bombs right down to the... Just throw bombs all the way down to the chainsaws that are chopping down trees. And get rid of all the trolls that are chopping down. In fact, it even has spinning blades, which is a very nice piece of hazard that makes us a little tougher. Trying to get the second bomb for the second chainsaw, it's definitely going to require a water round, but it's not too hard. Now, don't get mad at me for actually putting it up this high, but now don't get mad at me for putting it up this high. Thinking in your opinion that it's like clearly a boring place, thinking that it's clearly a boring place, but well, even if they might be reusing animation or design from a previous game, It's perfectly fine, because this is actually what you call nostalgia. At number 3, we have the Earth Gate from Operation Troll Rocket Steel, the Crawler Canyon. You will not believe how awesome this place actually looks. The first time I actually did get on was with a pretty weird glitch, but it's still pretty fun nonetheless. You basically just have to climb across a bunch of leaves that are being carried by some creepy crawlers that are climbing around this whole anthill. Yeah, there can be a bit of a glitch when you reach the top, but just be careful where you step and wait your turn. Try not to mistake these for ants, because they are clearly just four-legged spiders. They're clearly just creepy four-legged spiders. Very nice, so you can actually use these as platforms there. And of course, once you reach the top, you get the Monday hat. You can simply either drop down or see if you can really land on a leaf platform to actually get back to the bottom. It's up to you. Either way, this one is an awesome arcade, and it's by far my favorite out of the bunch. Not the whole bunch of elemental gates in the list, I'm just saying my favorite Earth Gate overall. At number 2, we have the Fire Gate from Ship Zeppelin, the Oven. This one is by far my second favorite out of the bunch, and it really fits well with the kitchen theme of the Ship Zeppelin. It's really fitting, considering you have to push piles of dough. You have to push pans of dough and create bread for platforms. Basically, watch out for the flames as you progress through. Some flames just won't go away exactly, but they do once they finish creating the bread. It's basically another generic block puzzle, but it's very fun to actually do. You're basically using bread to create bridges and climb all the way across to get the colander hat. All the way over here. Once you're done with that, just head back out. At number 1, we of course have my very own favorite elemental gate, the Magic Gate from the Midnight Museum. Daelus's Arcane Archive. You basically just need to use like this whole eye thing. See hidden dangers. It's basically you searching around. And these things are actually quite invisible to see. It can be quite frustrating to run around, however, because the eye can actually wear off after you find the key. Once you get the hang of it, you'll actually be able to get through and unlock this gate all the way over to the Eye of Chaos. Then just hit the teleport pad and you're back in the beginning. So yeah, you'll not believe how amazingly beautiful this gate really is. I mean, the Midnight Museum is built on eyes after all. There's spy clockers, the Dark Eye of Tomorrow, or Mañana, as Buzz put it before. It's basically Spanish for tomorrow, of course, but it's clearly called the Dark Eye of Invisibility, which involves using invisibility and stealing everything around Skylanders. It's basically using the dark elemental power. Anyway, that is basically my own very favorite. Careful not to step on the spy clocker spotlight though, once you step out. The thing is floating by. Alright, that's everything. I hope you liked this whole list here, and pretty much the theme songs of the Elemental Gates. Just thought I might turn down the whole sound effects and voices just to make sure they were hearable better. Alright, I will see you then next time for the Chaos Doom challenges, or possibly a music, or possibly a standstill music theme song video bunch about all the elemental gates, all the elemental gate themes. Basically forms through my main favorite bunch of all the 48. You're probably gonna like that one, and perhaps I'm gonna actually do the Chaos Doom challenges about next week. Anyway, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to gain more information about my latest videos. And I will see you then.